welcome to the very first episode of Lifepoints with Ucee. In today's episode, we shall be pointing you to boundaries, setting boundaries. And so, what are boundaries? Are there types of boundaries? Why are boundaries important? Are they necessary? And so all of that we shall be taking you in this episode. So what are boundaries? Simply put, boundaries are off limits, dividing lines. They help you define how you would want to be treated by others. Boundaries tell us what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. What boundaries do is to make us know the expected behavior you wish to get from people and how you would also treat people when they give you the needed expectation. So, types of boundaries. We have mental boundary, physical boundary, emotional boundary, and spiritual boundary. So let's pick physical boundary. Just as the name connotes, they tell us who and what anybody should get to, what they should have access physically about you. For instance, you have your phone. It's not everybody you want to have access to your phone. So when you define that, when you define who should have access to your phone, you're putting a physical boundary. And then again, you say, okay, I didn't do well. It's not everybody that has the right to voice out criticism, whether constructive or not, on you. You're also setting boundaries when you define who and who should do that. So all of that come under physical boundary. Now, mental boundary. Mental boundary is about the thought process, your opinions. You're entitled to your opinions. You're entitled to the way you want to think about something. For instance, you have the right to privacy. You have the right to secrecy. It's not everything about you that you want to put out for everyone to see. If you're doing that, you're setting a mental boundary because you want your sanity. That's why you have decided what you want someone to hear and what you don't want the other person to hear. And then thirdly, we're talking about emotional boundary. This particular one is very important for relationships. You know why? Because in emotional boundary, it helps you to tell when someone is coming with a manipulative or harmful emotion around you. When someone wants to put you under an emotion that is toxic, emotional boundaries will help you eliminate that. And then finally, spiritual boundary. Spiritual boundary helps us to distinguish between God's will and our own wills. Oftentimes, we try to take the thoughts that are dominant in our hearts as God's will. So when you set spiritual boundaries, it will help you to know when this is God and when this is flesh. And so it will also help you to reinvigorate your strength with which you're reverencing for God, because it will reduce flesh and then increase the spirit man. And so with all of this, you have now seen the essence of boundaries. It's more like a guideline that helps you to know the right living. So why is it important? It's important because it helps us to ensure that we have a healthy relationship, be it relationship between couple, relationship between family members, relationship between colleagues at the workplace, or even our relationship with God. So, setting boundaries ensures you to have a mutually respectful, appropriate, and caring relationship. You can achieve this by setting boundaries in different areas of your life. I hope that you've been able to pick at least one thing from today's discussion. So, if you enjoyed this session, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe so that we'll keep engaging you. Till then, see you in the next episode. Bye.